All right, good morning, everyone. I'll call the meeting to order. That's the appropriate thing to do whenever there's a hush that falls over the room. Ask everyone to please rise for the singing of our national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. All right, any additions to the agenda, Council? Seeing none, could I take a motion to adopt the agenda as presented? Councillor Schuler, all in favor? That is carried. Item 3.0, corrections or amendments to the June 22nd, 2016 regular meeting of Council minutes. Any corrections or amendments? All right, I'll take a motion to adopt the June 22nd, 2016 regular meeting Council minutes. Councillor Bossert, all in favor? That is carried. Item 5.0 is delegations, and we're delighted to have up first is Rita Stagman and Reverend Emma Vickery. Are you back on the job now? Okay. All right. Well, as of July 3rd. Oh, very good. Well, welcome both of you, and you're here to speak about the imminent arrival of a Syrian refugee family to our community.
So back in October, a group of businessmen and women from the community approached the All Saints Anglican Church here to ask if they could financially help us to bring a Syrian refugee family into the community. The reason that they came to All Saints Anglican Church is because the Anglican Church in Canada, and more specifically in the diocese, which would include this area, and it's the Diocese of Edmonton and area, are actually sponsorship agreement holders. Yes, which basically states that they have been vetted. We have, the Anglican Church has for many years been sponsoring refugees. And so because of that, it makes it much easier to go through that type of a system. And so at our annual general meeting, after several meetings and visits with the community, the church community of Anglican All Saints, we did actually agree to go ahead with this sponsorship. And so the committee, which is Drayton Valley Welcome In committee, was formed. And then it came to a point that we decided that if we, I'm going to ask Rita again, that we are the BOVOR.
Yes, the blended visa option. I don't know what the R stands for.
Yeah. Refugees?
Refugees.
Refugee. Option is that we will receive 50% from the federal government as well as, and then we provide 50% of having them come. And then if that would made it possible that we could have two families come in rather than just one if we were to support them completely. So we put our names in and we waited, and waited, and then suddenly we have a family who is coming. Do you want to talk more about the family?
So we have the Alabas family has been designated to be coming to our community. It's a community family of a father and a mother and 3 little girls, an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 2-year-old, and an 11-month-old child. And when we got the list of this family, the interesting thing is that one thing I noted is that the mother is from Homs, which is one of the original places where the uprising in Syria originally occurred. So I'm assuming that her hometown is devastated. The second daughter was born in Syria, the 2-year-old, and the newborn, the 11-month-old baby, was born in Lebanon. And so this family has been in exile, living in Lebanon for at least 2 years. And also on the thing it said they cannot go home for fear of their health and their life, right? So they're supposed to be in good health when they come here, and it's just like the perfect little family, because we had debated, the group had debated, like what size of family could we support, could the community help, and we thought a family of 2 to 3. We wanted a child that was school age because we felt that would help integrate them into the community faster. The mother would be able to get out a bit more, and so we have a school-age child. We have children coming up, and it's great. Our group, the DV Welcome In group, is comprised of business people and volunteers, and we have Deborah Bossett on our group too, representing council, and we have sort of designated people to task different things. Like we have Diane Nikifork looking after health and welfare. I'm a previous teacher, so I'm looking after education. Deb is part of the ESL program. We have somebody looking after transportation and different things. And we also have a woman from the community in town that originally, I think she's from Lebanon originally, so she is going to act as interpreter for us and things like that. So we're very excited. And we just hurry up and wait process now.
Any estimate as to when they? Yeah.
We were originally told when we got the family in May, it was near the end of May, that they would be here within 2 to 8 weeks, and I think we're probably hitting the 8-week mark, and we haven't heard. So, yeah, I think most people, we went to a cultural awareness workshop, some of us were able to, and there were many groups there that had their names on the list and had their family, and it was this sort of thing. No, they're not. Yeah, they're coming, they're not. So it was this hurry up and wait at prospect. But we are all ready. We have housing available for them. We're completely ready. The community is said, don't worry about food. We'll fill the fridge for the first couple of days so that they know, they're feeling at home. They have food that they would be comfortable with and things like that. So
and funding
happens. We're ready.
And the funding is in place
Yes.
already. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, we're very, very fortunate. We have housing available to us, and then also we've had some very generous donations from the community, and then plus 50% or so comes from the federal government. So,
Yeah. It is remarkable how members of this community step up to assist in a whole variety of ways and on so many fronts, this being one of them. And so thank you both for your efforts, Councillor Bossert, to the rest of the members of the Welcome In group, and look forward to meeting the family.
Yeah. And we'd like to thank you, Mayor McLean, because you have been part of you were at one of the initial meetings and have been very supportive for the group, so that's very thankful for the town council.
Yeah. Thank you, and I'll open it to questions. Councillor Netto?
I just had a question. You had mentioned the little girl that's turning 8. I have a 7-year-old that's, or
6, sorry.
6, sorry. So how are you prepping over the summer then to having her prepared, or is it a homeschooled originally, or when they first arrive? How are you prepping for that child to go into the school system?
I did go speak to the school that's closest nearby to where they will be living and spoke with the principal there about options. I mean, of course, it'll be up to that family choice where that child will go, but it's certainly in the school that they will be going to. There's already 3 families that are Arabic-speaking families, and so they, and they're very supportive of each other, so we're hoping they'll be supportive of the mom and the girl too. So, yeah, I think it'll be a good fit for a school.
Very good. A question over here. Councilor Boswell.
Thanks, ladies, for coming in this morning. I know it was a bit of a concern about who would be able to arrive this morning, so thank you for both coming in. I have to say it's been a pleasure working with this group, and it's something that I myself am quite passionate about, is newcomers, new languages, new cultures coming into our community. And I just want to say for the record, I think Drayton Valley is very blessed because the Arabic group of people here in Drayton Valley, the Islamic Association, has wrapped their arms around this project and has put the committee at ease as to what can be provided for this family. We are very blessed to have a number of Arabic speakers in our community, as well as one lady on our committee who is very devoted to being our interpreter. And the family that's coming, we've been able to contact them a number of times by telephone. They've heard our voices, or some of, I guess actually, Khalid's voice only, but there's been a connection made with the family already. And although they're terrified to make this big transition, they also know that it's the best thing that they can do for their little girls. And we look forward to the day to say they are on the plane from Lebanon on their way, and we hope that comes any day. But we're ready and we're excited, and we have a huge responsibility to support this family or families if we are fortunate enough to receive a second family. But I think our community is more than able to rise to the occasion. So thank you, ladies.
Any more? Councillor Frederickson.
Morning. Thanks for coming in. I just have a question. So leading up to this point, the committee's mandate has been trying to get a family here, and we are successful. How do you see that mandate of that committee evolving then over the course of the year, like whether this is a permanent location for that family over time, or like how do you see yourself as a committee evolving with the family being here?
Well, as of right now, yes, we do plan to have this family remain. And actually, when we were looking into choices for families, we looked for someone who actually has like agricultural background and he also has some other skills around moving trucks, heavy duty equipment. And so we were looking for someone, a family who was actually looking for more of a rural community. Because there were some that specified they wanted to be in Edmonton or specified they wanted to be in a city. And so when we went through the list that came out, we immediately looked for those that requested a rural community so that they would want to stay here.
And as sponsors, we are we have to be committed to look after for 1 year. And then at the end of the 1 year, it's hoped that they will be gainfully employed or moving along their way, right, to be assisted. So that's our commitment, is we have to provide that 1 year support. Yeah.
Anything further? I can't imagine what is going through the minds of this family right now, but I think it's important that they know they are coming where they are wanted. So thank you both.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, item 5.2, Staff Sergeant Callahoo with the RCMP June policing report. Morning.
Let's raise this up a little bit. So, looking good. So, just, I guess I'll start here with a couple of things before I get into the stats. A few changes in our office. One of the members that we had come over this past January, Constable Stephen Logan, has decided to join the Halifax Regional Police Service, so he's no longer with our office. He came over from the Canadian military as a military policeman, and then from there, because of some personal issues, decided to leave the force and move on. So we have a new member lined up that hopefully will be coming at the end of August to replace that member. Also, our brand new Sergeant Operations NCO, Sergeant Aaron Matthews, will be joining our office as of July 25th. So that's some good news as well to hear. So that'll help out on the management side of the office as well. So looking forward to that, because it's been a bit of a crush of work for the past little while. So anyway, getting into our stats for the month. Just a few things to point out here. On page 1 of our assaults, if you look at from January to June of this year, we're down fairly significantly from last year at the same time. Last year in 2015, we were at 59 assaults. We're down to 46, so it's a drop of 13, which is significant if you look at it. Same thing with the uttering threats, down slightly. The unfortunate part is that where the person's crime has dropped, unfortunately the property crime has increased. Our break-in enters and thefts of motor vehicles gone from 35 to 57 for break-in enters, and our theft of motor vehicles from 25 to 41, so those are concerning numbers, and I'll get more into that as I keep going with the report. Some of the other things that with our false alarms, we're still kind of on par for the year. 146 last year, we're at 141 this year so far. So one thing I did want to touch on, and I know that Councillor Wheeler had asked me last time about our impaireds. So far we're sitting at eight charges for the year, which is up from last year. It's again part of our proactive getting the members out of the office and focusing on that part as part of our prolific, or not our prolific, but our impaired driving. That's charges. When we look at how many calls we've gotten for the month, we're looking at around 18. About half of those were unsolved, where we couldn't find the offender, and the other half were found to be that, okay, the person wasn't impaired actually at the time. So, but this month in particular, we only had one impaired actual charge, but we did have 7 24-hour suspensions. So where they did, where members were stopping vehicles and where they did have alcohol in their blood to the point where they took a roadside screening device and they were over what they should be driving, but not enough for an arrest and a charge. So again, significant numbers for the month. So basically there's 8 people that we took off the roads this past month. So that is some good news in that way. I can also talk about our, we took two suspended drivers off the road. So those are people who don't have a license or not, well, they've been suspended by the province or criminally suspended. And that's an automatic 30-day seizure of the vehicle as well as a charge. So in that case, getting those people off the road as well, because that's a bit of a dangerous issue as well. I'm going to move on to page 4, which goes into our stats for the month in particular. This is kind of where I like to focus a little more specifically. Our assault charges, our assault calls says that there was 4 for the month, down from 9 last year to 4 this month. When I took a look into our actual accounts, those were the 4 calls that were demonstrated. 2 of those went to charges. Both of them were family violence related. And 2 others were, well, one was where the complainant didn't wish to pursue, and another that was not cleared, so it's still being investigated at this point. Moving on to our break-and enters, we had 4 this month. They were all business related, so we're stepping up our efforts on that, and I'll get into the patrol issue afterwards with that. The theft under 5,000, we had 22 this month. 6, and again, those are when this theft under 5,000 can relate from anything from theft from a motor vehicle, to theft from a property in particular. So we still have 6 that are under investigation. We have 14 that are unsolved where there's not enough evidence to proceed, and 2 that were unfounded or found not to actually be thefts at all. But when I looked at the type of material that's being taken, we have things like backpacks, gas tanks, a wallet, a power washer, oil, batteries. There was one that had 600 liters of diesel taken, so that's a fair amount of fuel that was taken from a particular place. One other thing here too is that there was 4 gas and dashes this past month, so basically where people are filling up and taking off from the gas stations without paying. The difficulty lies with that is that if we don't get a license plate, it's really hard to follow up with these things, and sometimes the video doesn't capture that for us, or else the attendant themselves can't identify what kind of vehicle it is. I don't know what kind of movement has ever been afoot on this side, but this is becoming, well, it's not becoming, it is a problem, not just here, but throughout the province.
The gas and dash in
Gas and
particular?
dashes. Primarily, property crime of this sort is a problem. And I don't know locally, and this is something I'm going to pose as a question to council about whether or not, and maybe what I need to do myself is maybe try and get together the business owners about looking at having a combined effort to do a pay before you pump, or else use the card before you pump type of situation. A lot of people aren't used to it, but it's consistently one of the things that happens every month, and this is a low count for us.
What do we have a sense of what time of day these are happening?
It can be during busy times. It can be, when people usually. It could be during the nighttime as well. Like it is really not a specific timeline per se. Things that these type of people watch out for is when it's busy. So that means that the person's distracted and has a bunch of work ahead of them. Or it could be the fact that it could be late at night and they fill up, they just jump in and off they go. And before the attendant realizes that the person is gone, they're gone. So it's not really a specific set of parameters, but it is a crime of opportunity. So it's something that's concerning to me in the fact that I see it consistently. And on a town level, maybe it's something for discussion as to how that can work with local businesses. I mean, I can certainly put out the invite, but I don't know if there's anything that can be examined on that side. So I'm just trying to pose that question to you.
No, it's certainly worthy of looking into.
Yeah. Moving on, our theft of motor vehicles, we had 10. Of those 10 incidents, we were able to locate one in the process, and they were charged. 6 so far that were unsolved. Now, a number of these vehicles, when I was looking where they were located, one was located in Black Falls, another in Evansburg. There's a couple that were abandoned in the county, one that was burnt, unfortunately, in the county. So, again, there's not a lot of rhyme or reason to where we're locating these things if we can pin it down to one particular person, but it could be a number of people that are involved. I can tell you this past week, we've had some success in catching one of our targeted persons involved with property crime and a vehicle theft. So they are currently sitting in jail. So that's a good thing at this point. So that's one of the few people that we have our eyes on.
It's a good containment strategy.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on. The only thing I'm going to specify here are false alarms. Thankfully, are down from 32 to 15 for this month. So that's some good news in that way. The other thing here too, again, just touching on with our impaired operation, we only had 1 charge this month, but 7 of the roadside suspensions. I know it only says 1 here. That's a scoring issue. So, because again, I also keep a log separate from that, and what the members do is when they have a 24-hour suspension, they submit a copy of that 24-hour suspension to me, so I make sure it's in the log so I know I have an accurate count. So I have to go back to the membership and say, look, this needs to actually get on the system so it jives with what we have. So sometimes the work is not getting always reflected on the official dates. Now, the last page comes to our overall issue page, I guess would be. This one here has 4 separate spots. Again, those would be under the break-ins, under the business, and the residents, as well as the cottage or seasonal residences. There's no doubt about it, property crime is up. Just yesterday, I'll even specify, we had an incident of a pursuit that took place with an offender who, and I know it wasn't in town, but I'm still going to, because it's fairly important to understand this. Homeowners are away. Criminals went in, broke into the shed, into the shop. They were basically cleaning out the entire house. Like, stuff was packed up and they were ready to go. And it was only by happenstance that the homeowner came in into the yard, found them there, and then from there, we were called and we were able to locate and arrest that subject. So, but we suspect more that are involved, so we're still looking into that. So, in that respect, I could say that for our patrols, we've done approximately 60 patrols, specified patrols. So, and I'm going to clarify that means a difference of above and beyond our normal traveling around, where it's actually targeted patrols within the areas that we think are having the greatest difficulty. So that's approximately 2 a day that we're doing in that area during the timelines that we feel that they're happening the most. So trying to suppress it that way. The other thing too, I don't know if you've seen my latest installment of the crime suppression article. It's basically with regards to break and enters to businesses. So I'm trying to give some detail as to help catch the people that are involved, what to do, what not to do. Biggest thing with any of this stuff is preservation of evidence and not having a bunch of people go in and out to try and lock it down as much as possible so that we have the ability to have a pristine scene to process and hopefully gather some evidence off of that. The last thing that I kind of found humorous, but I'll put it anyway, is we have an issue with our speeding violations where there's from 7 to 28. Basically, that means we're writing more tickets. So, and that's why it becomes an issue when we see a market increase. So, I don't particularly think that's an issue, but unless it's the speeding people, but we're out enforcing more than before. So, with that, I'm open to any questions.
All right, thanks very much. Any questions, Council? Councillor Wheeler.
Thank you. Good morning. I was just wondering about the false alarm bylaw. We are down definitely this month, like you said, from 32 to 15, but the overall from January to June, we're still kind of right in line from the last couple of years. I'm just wondering if you guys have been issuing any bylaw warnings to people that are...
We have. One of the things, and I guess I'll mention this too, is one of the issues that our members are facing, and this is something to look at possibly as an adjustment to the bylaw, is adjusting it so that we're actually able to charge the company involved. I know that there's wording in some bylaws that have that wording because a lot of times the owners of the businesses either reside in Calgary or Edmonton, and so these tickets are going to the employees, unfortunately. So it sometimes rubs some members the wrong way to do that to the employee versus whoever the person is. So I don't know. I'll have to dig further into it and give you some specified stuff in order to do that. But that's kind of where one of the concerns that was raised to me. So, but yes, they are still writing if that's the question. So.
Perfect. Thank you.
Anything further? Mr. Dibben.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, Staff Sergeant. Just with your last point on the speeding violations on the 28th in June, do you have a breakdown of that between violations within town limits and those outside of town limits served by the detachment?
I unfortunately don't have that for you, but could certainly get that for you. Did you want to discuss that matter that you had sent to me earlier?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. that there's been some concern with regards to photo radar and some people that are quite upset or angry about it to the point of sending something personally to you. I've looked at the content of that. Certainly it sounds a lot like someone is venting their frustration. Just to give some background on it, basically, and I'm sure you're all aware, it's more or less stating that they're going to be watching everyone for violations. And whether or not there's any sort of element of besetting or watching you guys, it's too early to say that. I guess the only thing I can say is just be vigilant and watch your surroundings. And if something happens, by all means, call us.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I think the big thing with that is it is inappropriate. Now, I'm not going to name the person, obviously, that was involved with that screenshot here, but is that the person that sent you that email?
The screenshot was not the person who, or at least as far as I'm aware, was not the person. The person who sent the email didn't have the courage to put his name on the email, so the only way you can track it is via his email address.
Right.
And which is not, they're not always clear as to the identity of the individual.
Right. I think the thing is that there's a sense of frustration from some people that's been seen in several different areas. We've even got some calls about photo radar and how it's, people are angry about this or that or the other thing. And I'm going to reiterate what I said at the GNP meeting that I attended, is that these are entirely preventable offenses. By that, if a person doesn't want to be charged under the photo radar, you simply have to stop at stop signs or traffic lights. You simply have to not speed in the appropriate zones. If you do that, you'll never have to worry about a ticket. And that's as plain and simple as I can make it. And so those people that are angry or upset at it, it is a public safety issue in my mind. And the fact is that beforehand, when I first got here, and again, it's been almost 2 years now, is that I did regularly see people speeding through school zones, not stopping at stop signs, and that has toned down quite a bit. So in my mind, it's being effective. So with that, I encourage you to continue the usage of it. And with that, that's my statement on that.
Well, I appreciate that, Staff Sergeant. And just for edification for the media's interest, as I said, the individual didn't have the courage to put his name on the email, but the essence of the email was, it was directed at me, but it referred to not only all of council, but all town employees being under the watchful eye of some individuals who are deeply opposed to photo radar. Now, the concern there is not that any of us are beyond reproach. The concern is that everyone in our community has the right to go about their business in a free and democratic society without fear of stalking behavior or other behaviors that approach that. So,
Okay.
thank you for your comments, Staff Sergeant. Any comments from Council? Councillor Neto.
I'll try and say this and not, it bothers me, obviously, when the email came out and you forwarded on to council for that. All of us have children on council. We don't sign up for this position to be targeted. We live in this community. Some decisions aren't going to be popular. Some are for the benefit of the greater community, and that is safety. People can say whatever they want about traffic controls or with photo radar in the community. The largest complaint I heard when I got on council was traffic had to be enforced. There was a huge issue with speed in our community. And now that we have enforcement, people are angry. The fact is, it's not just people that are angry. There are people that are in support of this as well. And we receive emails to that effect too, thanking us for keeping their children safe. It's okay to disagree with a council decision. It is never okay to lay threats against council, our administration, or anybody in our community. And the fact that we see that constantly on social media and people sharing it, it puts us all in danger. And it's unacceptable. And I am so disgusted that somebody out there would send that kind of an email, veiled threat or not, having a couple of drinks and sending that kind of nonsense is ridiculous. We are better than that as a community, and I am so disappointed that there would be people like that would send that, saying that they're watching us and our families. It is unacceptable behavior, and I think we need to put a stop to it in this community and say we are not going to stand by and watch that kind of behavior, either in social media or not. We need to be better as a community, and I know this community is amazing. Let's be better.
You know, common experience has told me that a great deal of the time when someone's behind a keyboard, they're 10 feet tall and bulletproof. Unfortunately. I think the thing of it is that for your own personal safety reasons, I think the big thing is that we look for anything that's actually going to be something of concern. So again, situational awareness is a big part of it. Keeping your eyes out and just, watching. And if you see something, by all means, let us know.
Thank you. Councillor Schuler, did you have a comment?
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Nadeau. That was very well put. And I believe the feelings of all of council. So thank you for stating that. And Sergeant Calhoun, thank you very much for your comments. I feel very much along the same lines that if you don't want to get a ticket for, photo radar, then don't speed. It's as simple as that.
It's pretty simple.
We've heard many times from many people that, it's nothing more than a cash grab. Well, it's not a cash grab if you obey the law. If you don't obey the law, then you deserve what you get. So I have no feelings for anyone that says photo radar is anything other than what it is, and it's a means of changing behaviors.
And I'll tell you right now, for the public record, I received a photo radar ticket at one point because I was going a little too fast. And you know what? I paid it without any issues because I knew that I'd broken the law at that point. And I mean, I'm not saying that to make it sound that I'm human just like anybody else. The fact is I have the respect for the law, and I know that if that's the case, I'm going to pay that ticket.
And I myself have also received photo radar tickets, not in town. I've been good there in another community, just not, I guess, paying as much attention to the speed signs that I should have. And and same thing, I paid it and didn't quibble over it. But I do have one other question for you. On your report, I think it was on page 1. I think it's page 1, maybe it's page 2. No, page 1. Persons reported missing. We show an increase from 5 to 20.
Yes. That's along the same lines as the last report that I had talked about. This is probably about 2 or 3 younger individuals who are under certain conditions that decide that they want to go out and be with friends or not obey the rules, and they're reported as missing. So yeah, there has been an increase yearly with that, but it is again more commonly stated as a runaway situation that is limited to a few people.
Okay, I appreciate that. Just one thing I have noticed, especially since school's out, but really since the weather's become nicer, is into the evening and late evening, early morning hours, a lot more youth wandering around on the streets, and just want to reinforce that we do still have a bylaw. What's it called?
Curfew bylaw.
Curfew bylaw that's still in effect and, can be utilized by the police if need be.
Certainly.
So just wanted to stress that again.
I'll certainly send that reminder to all my members.
Thank you.
Anything further? All right, thanks so much.
Thank you. And I had to head to that medalist sports meeting now, so.
All right. Next up, for the Tour of Alberta, representing the Tour of Alberta Organizing Committee, Trina Joly and Sandra Bannard are here to share some good news. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor and councillors and town administration. Thank you for having us here today. As the mayor just said, my name is Trina Joly. This is my friend Sandra Bannard. To give you guys a quick, just a background on us, probably most of you don't necessarily know who I am actually. I just moved to Drayton Valley about a year ago in June. My husband, my 2.5-year-old son, we moved here from Leduc. My husband is the general manager at the Toyota store in Drayton Valley Toyota. My history, I worked for the Canadian Curling Association for 10 years and also was part of the Alberta Winter Games in Leduc. I worked on 7 different curling events over the course of my career and then the games as well. So sporting events and sports are a major passion of mine, and I got paid to do this for a very long time, so it was about time that I started to volunteer instead of getting paid to do it. So.
There's not much choice in this matter, but thank you for saying so.
I was honored when the mayor phoned and asked. So.
Well, my name is Sandra Bannard, and I've been born and raised in the Drayton Valley area and lived with my husband and our 5 children in Drayton Valley for the last 27 years. And Trina and I share a similar background. We were both phys ed graduates from the University of Alberta, so the sport is a big deal in our lives, that is for certain. I also am a trustee for the Star Catholic Board, Drayton Valley Board. And I am the Robin to Trina's Batman.
So thank you for having us here today. We were initially, this portion of our presentation will be just to serve as an update on our local organizing committee. So I know you guys are all aware that the tour is coming here and in support of it. So without further ado, we do have a presentation. I believe you guys have it in front of you too. So just to refresh your memory, the Tour of Alberta is heading into its 4th year. There are some moving parts with this. So the Alberta Peloton Association is the operating body in Alberta that operates the Tour of Alberta. They have contracted a group out of the States called Medalist Sports. And they, who are in the other room, we were just meeting with them. They are the pros at this world, at cycling racing. They run all of the cycling events in North America. So they are the people that will come and actually make sure the race goes off. And then, of course, we have our local organizing committee here, to which Sandra and I have headed up to this date, and we have some great people around the table that graciously agreed to be a part of this. Yesterday, the Tour of Alberta officially announced in Edmonton the race route. I'm not sure if you guys had a chance to see that at all, but there was a press conference in Edmonton that we attended. Drayton Valley is the finish stage, stage 3. It is one of the longest stages of this year's race. The 2 days, the day prior to it and this day are both around 182 kilometers coming from Rocky Mountain House and finishing in Drayton Valley. They will do a closed circuit in Drayton Valley. When they get here, they'll do about 3.9 laps of the closed circuit, almost 4, not quite 4. And my understanding is they're going to rip around here pretty fast. It will take them 5 minutes the first lap and less and less and less every lap. So it's going to roll in here and be done in no time, but it'll be pretty cool to see.
Can I get you just to advance to the next slide, please? Or do we have one?
There, looks like we have something.
So this was part of the media conference yesterday. So this is the stage 3 day. So as you see, it starts in Rocky Mountain House. They're going to wind their way around a little and then make their way north on Highway 22, over, not come all the way up Highway 22, over a little dogleg there, and then up on 39 and into Drayton Valley via highway, or via 50th Street. They'll come off the highway.
Okay, our next slide tells us about the local organizing committee. So as you know, Trina and I are co-chairs, and I'll get you to roll on. For our volunteer co-directors, we have Jeanette Vatter and Patricia Jeffrey, both Drayton Valley notables, so very happy to have them on board. Next one, please. Les Hewlett is our education and community outreach director. Les has been a fixture in Drayton Valley for a long time as well. And then we have your very valuable and well-trained staff, Tyler Russell and Jennifer Stone, in the media and PR positions. And this was a great snag. Arlene Reed is our sponsorship director. We were really pleased to get her on board, and Arlene is an avid cyclist, so it's great to have her as part of our team. Paul Ma has been a rock star so far for this. We have to say he has a big job ahead of him relative to the stuff that has to be in place for race day, and he is just making great leaps and bounds toward accomplishing all that. Trina and I are also the festival directors for the event. And then we have the lovely Pam Livingston, who will take care of the ceremony and the VIP hospitality as well. Our members at large, we do have Dwight joining us when he can at the meetings. Pam Belkey from Bylaw has been invaluable, I have to say. Colette McLaughlin assisting Paul with his humongous task, and Heather Yakimchuk, who has joined us, our team from the Chamber of Commerce, will help us with our vendor portion of the festival.
So volunteers, I know everybody wants to know about volunteers. We require around 160 volunteers. That number could be less, it won't be more, but it could be less. We, to date, have 21 volunteers signed online. Yep, you are awesome. There has been a lot of talk about people volunteering. The issue that we're seeing is making sure people actually go online and sign up. So we're not really panicked about it at this point, because I think people just need to get onto the system and get signed up. The major piece of our volunteer requirement is the course marshal piece. Those are people that stand at driveways, business entrances, parking lots, all that make sure that we don't have any people coming and going when they're not supposed to be. That number is a work in progress. It could be anywhere from 90 people to 120, just depending on our map, the layout and stuff here as we go. So that's the biggest moving target, if you will. Volunteers must be above 18 years, and there must be 18 years of age and older when being a course marshal. We can use volunteers under 18 in other areas that we require. We have begun pounding the pavement with and contacting organizations, youth groups, teams, things of that nature to help us fill all the different groups that we need. But again, any word out there helping us recruit volunteers is always helpful. So our schedule of events. As a committee, our vision has come together here in the last couple weeks. It is the September long weekend, so we are aware of that. And aware of trying to keep people in town in order to see this race. So our vision was really that we needed to provide events free, a diverse amount of events free on Friday and Saturday in order to keep people in town, families, community members, to engage them, to hopefully then stick around on Saturday and come down to the race itself as well. So for that reason, we've started our events on Friday afternoon. We have officially booked the CETC Center. We are planning on running a family bike ride, a community ride. that after late evening or late afternoon, early evening, for everybody to come and take part in. A short ride. We're planning on running it between here and between the CETC and the Mackenzie Center on the trail system, back and to and from. Try to just get people involved and active and on their bikes that weekend. Anybody can kind of partake in that. And then back at the CETC Center, we're hoping to run a community barbecue with the help of potentially the Rotary, that has been doing that in the Rotary Park all summer as well. And then we have officially booked as well a drive-in movie for that evening out there, which will be a family-friendly movie. And that'll be the Friday evening. Try to keep people engaged that way. Our goal is to keep people out of downtown until Saturday to allow for medalists to set up so that there's no issues with setup and all that. And then also keep it fresh for Saturday when people can come downtown and really see the whole nature of the beast that will be Saturday when it is set up. It'll be pretty neat. So for Saturday, our vision is really to bring vitality and visibility to downtown. You can flip to the next slide, please. We will have a festival. That's one of the biggest things with the finish stage of the Tour of Alberta. We will have a festival that will encompass quite a few blocks of downtown area, including 51st Street, 51st Street and 51st Avenue. That will be where the finish line is. We are having a pancake breakfast out of the Alberta Seniors, the 55 Plus Center there. They've already agreed to that. That will run from 9 to noon on Saturday. We have a kid zone area going to happen in the playground right across from there, and also in the ice rink, outdoor ice rink there. We will have lots of activities for kids. In the festival area, we're hoping, we have engaged the Art Guild, that we're going to do an art walk. We will have other vendors there. We will have food trucks, and then all of our sponsors will have opportunity to have a booth as well there. The Tour of Alberta also comes with about 20 of their own vendors, including United Cycle and ATB and different sponsors as well. There is an entertainment stage. We have contracted Danny Hooper as our MC for that day, which will be amazing, I believe. We are in the process of booking an act, a decent act, to run a pretty good set on that stage, and then we've also engaged local entertainment to come and take part in that as well. There will be a VIP hospitality tent that Medalist and Tour of Alberta set up downtown. There also is a beer gardens that Medalist and Tour of Alberta bring in and run with one of their sponsors, Canadian Brew House. They run it downtown there. And then on the stage, the big entertainment stage, we'll actually do the awards presentation where we have opportunity for people to present to the top placers that day, and we also have the opportunity to create a unique gift and give that to the winner of the stage.
All right, I'll speak a little bit to the economic impact of the Tour of Alberta, and I think a lot of this is information that you've already been appraised of as you made the bid to go after the tour. Our big thing is that we want to take these items and showcase them to the public so that they have a vast understanding of what this potentially could mean to their business. And to that end, we last week just went around to the Drayton Valley downtown businesses and gave them a taste of what's coming so that they could, first of all, be aware and prepare accordingly for this economic boost that they've been given, or the opportunity that they've been given, but also that they could be appraised of the potential of road closures so they would know how that would impact their business as well. And we have to say the overall tone was absolutely excellent. People were very much on side, very happy to understand that there would be a lot of energy coming into the downtown core on that weekend, and that it would be facilitated very well to draw people in. So the big polls there, I think people were shocked when we told them that we're going to have 47 million television viewers in 161 countries. Like, this is a big deal. This is a big sporting event that is international. It has international appeal. And then the other big one was that there's 5,000 to 10,000 people projected to be in the festival area. That was another one that you got some big eyes on. So people were very excited, I think, about the potential opportunity that's forthcoming. Next slide, please. To that end, we're understanding that we've got a great opportunity to showcase local businesses that want to be involved and have a little bit more exposure. We've acknowledged that businesses want creative opportunities in advertising. So to that end, we have developed a local sponsorship opportunities brochure, and I'll make sure you all get one at the end of the session here. Within the brochure, we have included naming opportunities that businesses could go after in terms of their sponsorship. So as you see, we have the entertainment stage, the kids zone, the drive-in movie, volunteer recognition, etc. So we are well in our way of having three very strong potential sponsors for three of the items up there, and we just kind of put this together last week. We finally got the brochure completed, so we're happy about the response on that front. People are looking for creative ways to get their names out. This will give them good exposure in the community, but it also does open up the opportunity for a broader, more provincial or national or even international perspective relative to some of the advertising opportunities that go with this. We also did a traditional kind of form of contribution for sponsorship relative to where you have levels. And I'll just get you to advance to the next slide, please. So we have sponsorship packages that are named after kind of race terminology. We have the sprint level, that's an easy entry for a lot of businesses to get in at $500 to $999, and then as you can see, Breakaway, Echelon, and Peloton. So we've given a number of opportunities of dollar value points that businesses can come in to receive the different perks, as it would be, that would go along with those sponsorship levels. And just moving forward onto the education aspect of the tour, one of the things that I really appreciate about the Alberta Peloton Association and the tour itself is the modus operandi to get people out and get them physical on bicycles and get them engaged in cycling. So we've got a huge opportunity to do some education in that department. Prior to school letting out, we did a distribution of bike safety helmet, how to wear your helmet safe, to about 1,500 school children in the community, as well as giving notice that the tour was going to be coming through. So we used it as a bit of a double opportunity, giving notice about the event and then also the safety aspect. We have a number of other events planned relative to the festival. That's a great opportunity. We'd like to engage the Drayton Valley cycling community if they would like to put on, it's in the works to have a safety demonstration and just information that's available, people that can go down and talk to people on site that are experienced cyclists about road safety and the like. So that's in the works. And so we'll look to build on that. There's also other avenues relative to summer programming that's going on. The tour has produced a booklet of opportunities or educational opportunities, and we'll make sure that summer staffs, as well as schools if they want them, they can access the materials online, or we can print off a couple of copies of books and distribute them as well.
So one of our greatest challenges is awareness of this event, and it is summer. And so we have already taken part in the Canada Day Parade. We were down at the market at Canada Day. We are going to be at 2 farmers markets in July and every single farmers market in August. We are also producing our own merchandise piece specific to Drayton Valley, and we should have them at the beginning of August and be able to sell a shirt for people if they want to buy them ahead of the event, and then we will have them for sale at the event as well. Obviously, there'll be other Tour of Alberta stuff available to purchase, but it would have Drayton Valley right on it as opposed to just being generic to the tour. So other promotion things that we have planned, we will be in partnership with the Western Review and Big West Radio to get the word out on volunteer pieces and overall event awareness. We will be planning mail-outs. There is information already up on the electronic sign, thanks to Jennifer and Tyler. We have produced some posters as of this week that we are going to try to get out to all the surrounding communities, along with, we have these business cards that have the volunteer, how to volunteer, and then more event information on the back. So we'll be distributing that as widely as we can with our committee and some key volunteers. Our Facebook fan page that Tyler created is live as of today. It's a specific Drayton Valley Facebook fan page, so we'll be sharing that, and hopefully everybody can like it and share it and all those great things that come with social media. As I said, our greatest issue is awareness. So our goal is that we can come to you after this event is over and say that we left no stone unturned, that we have tried to let everybody know about this event, and that if they didn't, they were living under a rock themselves. So that is our goal. To leave you guys with our contact information is up there, Sandra and myself, for local contacts here. And I just want to say thank you for your time. I know we're going to discuss road closures later on, but just thank you for your time. Do you have questions for us?
Thank you very much, Trina and Sandra, both for your presentation. It's very comprehensive. I'm suitably impressed with the extent of the work done to date. You really hit the ground running, and thank you so much. I think it's pretty clear we're making sporting history in Drayton Valley. This is a very high-level event. We have the right people leading the charge in the local organizing committee, and I'm thrilled with how we're doing thus far. Thank you. And I'm going to go to questions. Councillor Bossert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, ladies. Thanks for coming in. Thank you for, as the Mayor mentioned, a very comprehensive presentation. I myself am not a cyclist. I'm not ashamed to admit that, but I am an ambassador for our community, and this event makes me very thrilled to be part of this community and this event. I think there will be no stone unturned. You ladies, your committee are doing a fabulous job promoting this, and I look forward to a great weekend. My one question is, where are you planning to have the major festivities on the Saturday? Is it in the downtown core, or is it down at the CETC? If you're expecting 5,000 to 10,000 people in the downtown core, it'll be full.
Yeah, the festival area will all be downtown on Saturday, yeah. So one of the things that we have discussed is making sure that we can give people options for parking and walking over to downtown, because that is going to be an issue. The other thing that as a committee we've decided is we really need to promote cycling. We need to say, ride your bike, come down with your family, everybody ride their bikes. We are planning in the downtown core to have a bike corral, if you will, so that people, and we're going to get a group of some sort, a youth group of some sort, to man it, so people can come and park their bikes and feel safe parking their bikes in the bike corral, and possibly, and then they can, instead of walking or riding down there, they can park their bikes and feel safe leaving them and enjoy the festivities that way. Just to give you an idea, our festival area will be 51st Street, really is the main part of it, and then the parking lot behind as well, kind of in between the ice rink and the businesses there. Those are the kind of main festival areas that have been tagged to this date, along with the kid zone. If that answers your question.
Yeah. Councillor Frederickson?
Thank you for your presentation, and I agree with what the mayor had said is, yeah, you guys are really going full steam ahead, and it's excellent. And just the opportunity for some economic diversity and a good launching pad for tourism for our community, because there's a lot to do in this community. And I think sometimes we just have to look at our community through a different lens as a place to visit, not just a place to live and work. But one thing I was going to say, I have registered as a volunteer, so if you're not here on the week, I'm challenging you to find somebody to replace your body. And I've also been able to snag 2 already in the span of I was listening to the presentation, but I also got 2 other volunteers on board. So my challenge is not just to council, but to everyone. If you are volunteering, exponential, add maybe 1 or 2 people, because I know that is not just for this committee, but for other things like the DV100 and when we were doing Thunder in the Valley volunteering, it is a bit of a daunting task. And for a community that's always waiting to the last minute to register and whatnot, it's nice to know that at least if we have some large numbers in the bag going into the event. So that's my challenge.
Very good. Councillor Netto?
I'm just wondering if you could do the website for where people could volunteer. There's a link, isn't there? No.
Councillor Nadeau, we can bring you a card, a business card, and it has all the information. We'll make sure that you all have one, or maybe even a couple, because if you can distribute those on our behalf, that would be
Absolutely.
awesome.
I've got a couple people already lined up too, but I'm just wondering for the media as well, if they can, then they can add it
Yeah.
for you.
Absolutely, for sure.
I'm quite sure that Tyler has it. If he doesn't have it with him, he has access to it, and he can provide that to the media, of course. Thank you. Anything further? Councillor Schuler?
Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm very much looking forward to this, and just to take heart, Randy, I will take your challenge. I'm going to postpone. I'm leaving on holidays that weekend, but I'm going to postpone by a day so I can participate, and I will sign up and volunteer.
If you feel guilty.
And and I already have a few people in mind to ask to assist, so I will take up your challenge. And I'm very much looking forward to this. You guys are doing a fantastic job. Just keep it up. Thanks.
Fire Chief Thompson?
Just a quick question, if I may. I was just wondering, is there any opportunities for local kids to meet the stars of cycling? That's kind of something that I know from my own family, they like to have a personal connection, and that gets them interested in the sport or in the event. So,
yeah, that was actually one of our very first questions to medalists, because we thought, having them as an autograph alley here, or, the option to meet the riders here would be a real big draw as well. Unfortunately, that is a drawing piece for a start community. So Rocky Mountain House, they have to arrive an hour prior to the start of the race and sign in, and then they go to Autograph Alley. So that is one of the selling features of a start community. After the race, they basically get off their bike, they go to the team area. If they get pulled for anti-doping, they're pulled. If not, my understanding is within 15 minutes they're on a bus back to the hotel to arrange for massage, chiro, eating, and bed is what I'm told. So we were hoping to have access to them, but unfortunately at that end of the day, it's just not an option.
It's not like when I finish a bike ride. It's usually beverages and a lot of relaxation. Anything further? All right. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Great progress, and this is very exciting.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to, hopefully council isn't in dire need of a break. Semi-dire need? Okay. Well, let's have the motion 6.1, then we'll take to respect those who've been waiting for a future item on the agenda. We'll take a 5-minute break after item 6.1 and reconvene so that we can attend to other items. So, item 6.1, Councillor Bossert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Earlier this morning, just moments ago, the local organizing committee for the 2016 Tour of Alberta presented council with the tour route that was officially announced by Tour of Alberta on July 12, 2016. Council was presented with a request to approve the closure of roads to vehicular traffic during the cycling event from Friday, September 2nd to Saturday, September 3rd, 2016. The request is for council to allow the temporary closure and barricading of the streets as indicated on the map and the time schedule circulated by the Tour of Alberta Local Organizing Committee. The intended road closures are being proposed to ensure the safety of the athletes and spectators attending the Tour of Alberta and the festival activities. The roads will reopen to traffic once the Tour of Alberta infrastructure has been removed from the site and the company responsible for the physical setup and takedown, Medalist Sports LLC, has completed its operations. Times have been determined based on medalists' needs, as well as the local organizing committee's estimates to ensure the least disruption to traffic while ensuring the protection of those involved in the event. I therefore move that council approves the temporary road closures and barricading as indicated on the map provided by the Tour of Alberta Local Organizing Committee during the times as presented.
Thank you, Councillor Bossert. Any discussion on this motion? It was for Councillor Long and then yeah.
Thank you, and thank you guys. Can I just ask you a question regarding this? I'm looking at the 51st Avenue between 52nd Street and 50th Street from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. There's a couple of restaurants in that area that are basically going to be shut down for 2 days. Is there any way to mitigate that impact on them?
I can answer that, Councillor Long. So the restaurants won't in effect be shut down. The only limitation that they'll face is that people will not be able to drive right up to their door. However, when we spoke to the restaurateurs and said you will have a population mass of potentially 5,000 to 10,000 people in the area, they will be looking for food. One of the things that the Tour of Alberta does to help with businesses is they provide a package called Paid the Province. So it's kind of tour paraphernalia that they can hang up in their windows and that kind of thing, so that they look as a draw to people that are for the tour that this restaurant is engaged and would like to feed the people that are around. So we're really encouraging them to look at that aspect of the opportunity. Friday evening, Friday day and evening, they will have pedestrian traffic that will be available to go through the area.
Just that. Okay, thank you.
Councillor Frederickson.
My question is directed towards Tom there. Looking at, you have a map in front of you? Okay. Do you have any fire access concerns based on what is presented here?
We've already been in consultation with the committee. We will be moving our emergency services to another location for that time period. As well, we'll also be heavily involved in the race itself, so we feel that we have it managed.
Yep.
And then one other question. So from what you had said, Sandra, you had talked with the people that are in the downtown core. This does extend out to Highway 22. Do we, pending whether this passes or not, is there a message going out to businesses on the outside of the downtown core there to the west about any sort of road closures?
Zach, go ahead.
Yeah, so we will deliver to all businesses. We'll deliver an event notification to all businesses on the route itself. Regarding the closure of Highway 22 specifically, that comes from a province-wide permit pulled by Medalist and Tour of Alberta. So that is, Alberta Transportation is made aware of that and makes however concessions they need to make businesses and stuff aware on that piece. But we will make sure that as a committee, we deliver the actual road closures to all the businesses on the route itself.
One more question?
Well, sort of. So if we're looking at Highway 22 closure, then for some of the heavy traffic and stuff that currently use that, do we have a suitable alternate traffic route that can?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
All the mitigating circumstances have been taken into effect. The traffic will be diverted just for that small chunk for the small period of time that they're there. And it's on already a truck route, so we don't have any concerns.
Thank you. Councillor Wheeler and then Councillor Schuler.
Thank you. I think this is very exciting, and I'm very excited about using the downtown core. And I'm wondering if any of the businesses have talked about having like extended hours. Are you guys using the EPAC centers? There's stuff happening extra that the businesses can do themselves, you know, that they kind of know people will be in the area until 7 or 8 o'clock at night, you know, that kind of thing?
Thank you for the question, Councillor Wheeler. What we're looking at is making sure that we've provided the information to businesses so that they can, I guess, scope the weekend for themselves, what works best for their manpower and their resources. One of the things that we are, though, trying to do is get some businesses on board that may have opportunity to maybe be more of a draw to keep people that are in the downtown area, so when the festivals are wrap at 5:30, 6 o'clock, that they stay in the downtown area, they stay in the community to have dinner, they stay in the community perhaps overnight. So really trying to continue the evening portion of the festival on. So we're encouraging that to businesses, but that is going to be at the discretion of the businesses, how far they want to go with it.
All right, anything further? Councillor Bossert.
Sorry, just one quick question. What time of day do we expect the pack to arrive in our vicinity?
Yeah, so the race itself will, I believe, is 4:16. They'll hit town around that time. Depending, a whole pile of factors could make it not really quicker, but later. Weather, headwinds, all that stuff. There will be a command center actually right in the Civic Center, which will have members from fire and police and from the Tour of Alberta Medalist Group to make sure that everybody is aware where the pack is, where they're coming. And just for your standpoint as well, our festival will open from noon till 5:30. So we will have people hopefully downtown a lot earlier than that.
One of the interesting things that Medalist kind of pointed out to us is that they have Sportsnet from 3 p.m. till 5 p.m., so they really want the race to be completed and the awards presented before 5 p.m. So there's great desire on their part to make sure the athletes are in the community roughly at that specific time.
Yeah, and the awards presentation will be aired then on Sportsnet as well.
Very good. Anything further? All right. No further discussion on the motion? All right. All in favor? That is carried. We're going to take a 5-minute break. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you.
Very much appreciate your work. And we're going to take a 5-minute break.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item 6.2, Intermunicipal Development Plan Amendment. The Town of Drayton Valley has received a referral letter from Brazeau County regarding an application they received to amend Figures 5 and 6 of the Intermunicipal Development Plan, IDP. The intention of the application is to allow for the rezoning of lands currently occupied by the Poplar Ridge Manufactured Home Park and to amend the plan to show the zoning as residential. The current IDP identifies lands as slated for light industrial in the proposed growth management strategy, Figure 5, and the future land use concept, Figure 6. The existing manufactured home park is neither a compatible nor complementary use within the industrial area of Poplar Ridge and will limit expansion of the industrial uses in the area. A caveat RE development agreement was registered on the title against these lands in 1990, stating that the mobile home park is to be for industrial uses and that residential development is intended to be phased out in the future. A copy of the caveat is attached. On May 2nd, 2016, as part of the referral process by the county, the town responded that there are long-standing concerns regarding the proposed amendment of the IDP. These concerns include the lack of water supply hydrants for fire suppression within the park, as well as within the industrial area, and lack of proper accesses in and out of the park itself. As the IDP is a joint statutory document, both municipalities are required to pass a bylaw for any amendments to the plan. Brazeau County Council gave first reading to the amended IDP at their meeting on April 5th, 2016. The following options are presented to Council concerning this application for amendment to the IDP. Option A is Council directs administration to prepare the documents necessary to amend the intermunicipal development plan as requested by Brazeau County. Option B, Council directs administration to prepare correspondence to Brazeau County which advises that the town of Drayton Valley does not agree to the proposed amendment of the intermunicipal development plan. Option C, Council directs administration to send a letter to Brazeau County advising of the town's position that certain matters and concerns need to be addressed by the county and landowner prior to the town considering any changes to the IDP through the appropriate intermunicipal planning process. Therefore, I move that Council directs administration to prepare correspondence to Brazeau County which advises that the town of Drayton Valley does not agree to the proposed amendment of the intermunicipal development plan.
Thank you, Councillor Frederickson. So we have option B is the motion that's been made. Any discussion on this motion? Councillor Long.
Thank you. I struggle with this, and I thought about this a lot. I have trouble supporting option B because I feel it puts the existing residents of that mobile home park in a difficult position. I would much prefer us to continue the conversation with the county and see if there's some way to sort this historic mess out.
Okay, so the question that I have is, and just for clarification, you indicated that you have concerns that it puts the residents in difficulty. How so?
Well, I may be misreading the situation, but if they're not able to put new mobile homes in the park, and then at some point down the road, it could be 10 years, it could be 15 years, they get to a point where the place is no longer viable, and anybody still with a home there is basically screwed. Is that not the case?
Well, far be it from me to interpret the development agreement from 1990, but it clearly indicates that the parties at the time, the owner and the county, agreed that the intended use was the phase out of the residential development. Again, not lending an interpretation to that, but it seems fairly clear on the face of it. In addition to that, and I would ask, is Shahid still in the room? Oh, there you are. And I'll ask you to comment on this in a moment. Whether or not council agrees to pursue first reading of a bylaw or not does little to affect the status quo for residents of Poplar Ridge Manufactured Home Park. Those who currently live there can currently live there unless and until the county decides otherwise or takes additional action. There is nothing that support or rejection of this motion is going to change in that regard.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor and Council. I would like to share some facts. If you see that development, there's no any statutory plan support this development, like IDP, area structure plan, their LUB, and number two, there's a long, it's a history, I mean, since 1977 and till today, I mean, you see the administration never supported this kind of development in that area because that area is designated as light industrial development, even the IDP, ASP, so that's, and doesn't matter, I mean, even you provide like address a concern like infrastructure accessibility, but in future, I mean, you see this development is surrounding by light industrial area, And if we allow them in the future, that will create noise pollution, air pollution, traffic issues, safety issues. That's a key consideration.
I think further to Councillor Long's concern, and I take it as very much a heartfelt and sincere concern for the residents, if the zoning remains as it currently is, does that impact the current residents of the mobile home park?
You mean,
Does it, the question is, does it force them to move?
that would be non-conforming then if we don't allow or we don't rezone it, that would be non-conforming then.
Right. But the question is, does it force them to move?
The thing is, there's a caveat in a land title, and I don't know, the county has issued stop order on it.
Right. So my understanding, again, I defer to the experts in this regard, but my understanding of planning law and developments of this type and changes or prospective changes in zoning, that if the existing zoning continues, that does nothing to change the ability of current residents to remain in Poplar Ridge Mobile Home Park, unless and until Brazeau County decides to take some other type of enforcement action. But that action would be outside of our jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions on this? Discussion? Councillor Schuler.
Yeah, I too have struggled with this, just, along the lines of what Councillor Long, has been saying. But, looking back at the history, it goes back a long time, back to 1986 from what I see on the documentation I have, that this mobile home park was to be phased out. And, the fact that it's still here since 1986 tells me that that phase out, is going to take a long time to happen. I just don't feel that this is a use that this land should be used for. Like, it's zoned industrial or light industrial, and I really don't feel that this land use fits in with that light industrial. And I would like to, I'd really like to see this phased out. And what that means, I don't know. That really is up to Brazeau County. But I think this needs to go to the intended use that it has been pretty much from existence. Going back right to 1977, it looks like they asked to expand it and were turned down, though they did win on appeal. It looks like this area was not intended to be for residential use. And I'd have to say I support that.
Right. I'd refer council to some of the correspondence in the package as well on a public safety, from a public safety perspective, respecting fire suppression capability and ingress and egress. There are legitimate public safety concerns here. As I understand it, in our package too, we have an indication that county administration's initial recommendation in this regard, in this matter, was to deny the rezoning application. Now, that's not, administration, of course, not the last word on these things. Councillor Frederickson, you had a question?
I was just going to ask if Fire Chief Tom Thompson could speak. So in the background, we had talked about hydrants. But what about supply? So when we had the presentation from Poplar Ridge last week, they had talked about hydrants. To my understanding, though, water supply itself is something that, or water pressure is something that is of concern.
Chief Thompson?
Yeah, that is our chief concern. It's there is a lack of hydrants in the area, and it's not just the mobile home park. It's that the whole west side of our community that we're concerned about. But the primary concern is the lack of water pressure that would be required to fight a substantial fire, particularly in the industrial area of this region.
Any further discussion on the motion? All right, all in favor? Opposed? That motion is carried. Item 6.3, Councillor Nadeau, Assessment Review and Property Tax Reduction Request.
Thank you, Mayor. Oh, I've skipped right over mine. Sorry. Correspondence from an industrial landowner has been received requesting a reduction in property taxes for industrially zoned vacant lands within town limits. The correspondence also outlines concerns with the property assessment, suggesting it is inaccurate. Pursuant to Section 347 of the Municipal Government Act, Council can cancel, reduce, refund, or defer taxes under the following guidelines. 347.1 is if Council considers it equitable to do so, it may generally or with respect to a particular taxable property or business or a class of the taxable property or business do one or more of the following with or without conditions. A, cancel or reduce tax arrears. B, cancel or refund all of the property tax. C, defer the collection of a tax. 2, a council may phase in a tax increase or decrease resulting from preparation of any new assessment. Following the adoption of the interim 2016 budget, Town Council, after undertaking additional consultations and receiving other representations, finalized its 2016 budget by reducing the proposed tax increase from 2.75% to 0. With respect to concerns received concerning property assessment, the landowners have been advised of the option to file these concerns with the Assessment Review Board and the timelines associated with that option. Administration has prepared 2 options for Council's consideration. A, that Council directs administration to review and present options for a change to the non-residential tax rate of 2016, or B, Council denies the request to reconsider the 2016 non-residential tax rate. I move that Council denies the request to reconsider the 2016 non-residential tax rate.
Thank you, Councillor Nadeau. Any discussion on this motion? Councillor Long.
Thank you. I support the motion, but I just wonder in the attached letter, the property owner indicates that his taxes increased by approximately 10% this year. Obviously, we know it should have been 0 from the town. I suspect that's the school requisition. And if we're contacting to notify our decision here, perhaps we could point that out.
Mr. Dibben.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for that point, Councillor Long. Given that we are unsure in this particular case as a property example of what might have been the contributing factor, we did endeavor to contact the property owner last week to indicate that if there was a concern over assessment and if it was relevant to the municipal portion of the assessment, that they had options to avail themselves of with the Assessment Review Board, and that was provided to them in enough time so that they could avail themselves of that opportunity. The point is well taken in terms of once Council makes a decision in this matter, we can look back at the tax roll specific to the property and provide some further detail of that as it compares to their previous year tax roll, if that would be deemed appropriate and advisable.
Anything further? Councillor Frederickson.
This is specifically asking about the town tax rate, but I did want to speak to the fact of the messaging behind the letter itself too, that there's concerns that that regionally it's in the best interest of our region to be able to both as town and county, support our businesses as best as we can. I find it disheartening reading the letter and trying to understand businesses pitting against one another based on where they're located. And honestly, I can't think of a way to reconcile that. But just the fact that as a region, we're stronger if we're working together as a region, and you know, that dividing line in the sand between town and county, and what town is capable of doing and what county is capable of doing, is doing more than just playing politics between one region or another. What it's doing is it is pitting. I don't want to say it's pitting businesses against, but it is. That essentially it's making competitors out of similar businesses, which doesn't do anything for us for strength as a region. And like I said, I don't have a solution for this, but it is a frustration that we have so many great assets in our community, and yet an arbitrary line is dividing them and weakening us as a region. That's all I want to say about that.
It's a good argument for cooperation or cooperative approach to addressing problems of business development and retention in the broader region. Anything further? Councillor Bossert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to state that this council is not unsympathetic to the economic situation of our community, whether it's in the town or Bazoo County, and we worked diligently to keep our tax rate at 0 this year. But in that budget process, we also realized that there is a number of large capital costs that are capital projects coming forward to our community, and the standard operation of our community. And the way those projects and the operations of this community are paid for is via our tax. We all bear that responsibility. So this council is not unsympathetic to the challenges that our community is facing, but we all bear the responsibility to support the community through taxation.
Anything further? All right, we have a motion before us. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Item 6.4, Councillor Long.
Thank you. Correspondence has been reviewed requesting that the Town Council consider an amendment to bylaw 2007-15D in order to reallocate some of the costs of the service road to the town. A local improvement is initiated at the request of the property owner and at the permission of council for construction projects that are considered to be of greater benefit to that area than to the municipality as a whole. The project is to be paid in whole or in part by the property owners in that specified area. Once the borrowing bylaw has been passed, the municipality issues a debenture to the Alberta Capital Finance Authority to cover the cost of the project. The cost of the construction can be added to the property tax notices. A levy is a means to recoup the costs of local improvement, including interest charges associated with the debenture. The interest rate is set by the Alberta Capital Finance Authority and is based upon current market rates. The length of the term is based upon the expected useful life of the improvement. The municipality does not charge any fees or premium or gain any benefit from collecting these levies. 100% of the amounts collected from property owners for these levies go towards paying off the debenture, principal and interest issued by the ACFA. Bylaw 2007-15D was established in 2007 at the request of the original owner of the property. The levy is for the construction of a service road in front of 3 lots along 50th Street. 2 of the lots sold in 2012, with the payment being made by the 2 owners to the present day. Currently, the town of Drayton Valley has 5 local improvement levies, including this one, for a total outstanding amount in excess of $1.3 million. Any consideration by council to amend the bylaw would likely result in further and similar reconsideration requests from other landowners. So we've got 2 options there. Option A, is that council direct administration to draft an amendment to that bylaw, that's 2007-15D. But I'm going to go with option B, that, so I move that council denies the request to amend bylaw 2007-15D.
Thank you, Councillor Long. Any discussion on this motion? Councillor Wheeler.
Thank you. In here, it does say that the town does not collect fees or premium or gain anything, but it is true that our administration does spend time on this, collecting these and dealing with these and sending out paperwork. So the town, the taxpayers, are spending money on this, a service that we're offering these people. And so I just want to make that aware that we do offer this as a service to people.
Thank you, Councillor Wheeler. Councillor Schuler.
Yeah, I just want to stress that, this bylaw came into effect in 2007. And, I understand, the economy now, but in the same token, this isn't something that, we can just waive without consequences to all our taxpayers, because if this owner isn't living up to the bylaw and paying it, then we have to take, our taxes from other areas to cover that, which means everyone in town's paying for it. And this is a road that was requested by, at the time, the current, the landowner, indicating that this was required and they wanted this in. So, the owner came in, 5 years later. They were well aware of this. This isn't something that's new to them. They were well aware of the commitment, and at that time, it was deemed fine. I'm not in favor of providing this service to begin with, because I think it takes away, it does take away from our borrowing capabilities, and I stressed that before on another motion, but so definitely to waive this, I can't support this, because I think it's going to be no end of all of the landowners that are into one of these agreements will then come forward and say, I want it waived too. So I think if we waive this, it's a very dangerous precedent that we'd be setting.
Councillor Long,
Yeah, thanks. Councillor Schuler's actually just made my point. It's nice to be nice, but there is no magic pot of money for us to draw upon for this. If it doesn't go with the landowner, it goes to every other taxpayer in Drayton Valley, which is not Plan A.
anything further? All right, we have a motion before us. All in favor? That is carried. 7.0 Department Reports. 7.1 Engineering and Development, Planning and Development. Shaheen.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. There are a couple of things to report and share with you today, and since our last council meeting, June 22nd, Planning and Development has approved 4 development permits and 13 business licenses, and 3 development permits are for as-built shed, and the number 4th one is for the tag. And if you see business licenses, out of 13 business licenses, 12 are new, which tells us, the interest of contractor and different professionals from other part of, from Edmonton or Calgary in that town of Drayton Valley. And there's only one which is for the change of ownership. And if you see the list, there's a variety of business licenses, which include liquor store, general metering, collaboration and repair, cell phone and computer repair, supportive living and retirement residence and accommodations, vacuum trucking, retail housing, hardwood refinishing and flooring, concrete pumping, electrical contractor, supply and install hockey arena board, glass and netting, playground and spray park contractor, constructions, electrical, mechanical, telecommunication, and engineering consultant firm. That was for with regard to current planning. Just I would like to share, last week I attended CIP conference, Canadian Institute of Planning Conference. That was a 4 days conference, and almost like 400 to 500 participants was in that conference, and including planners, architects, mayors, councillors, developer, builders. That was very good conference, and interesting to see how what strategies and what planning principle other towns and cities are adopting to develop their towns. And it was interesting to see a lot of cities and towns, they are investing in their downtown area to make it a hub for recreation, tourism, retail, commercial activities. And they are investing a lot of time, energies, and resources for placemaking and for urban design. And they also focusing on a smart growth and intelligent city to connect cities and towns with technology and infrastructure. And they're also focusing on the mixed land use planning to offer choices and opportunities for the residents and for the community. And they're also focusing on the encouraging high density. High density, what different planners, their opinion was, high density doesn't mean like you're building 4, 5, or 6-story building. But the thing is, you have to provide the amenities. You will see a lot of buildings in different towns. They are empty, and but the buildings, when you see, they include the amenities. For example, little like a playland, or little library, swimming pool. That's more expensive, and people focus and they prefer that kind of building, and that increase their even property price there. And the key thing of what I learned from that conference, that vision is very important for the town and city, that what kind of town and cities you wanted, and what kind of development you want to see. Engage community in that in decision making, and do a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat, and engage community as well. And to create like a choice and opportunity for resident, also for the other people. They they want to invest. For the builder and developer. And I understand there are 4 things are very important for any town and cities for their future growth. Like a vision and will, and active community and skills. And I'm glad we have that resources, and we can make our town most desirable place for live, work, and play. That's all for today.
It's music to my ears. Good stuff. Any questions of Shaheen? Councillor Nadeau?
It's not so much a question, but my kids are in a summer camp right now, and it's close to Red Deer. So I've been in Red Deer a couple of days, this last week. And I really have to comment, too, when you're going into Red Deer, they're downtown. They do it with intent now, and it never used to be that way. And it's all about revitalization downtown. And so it is. They have the archways to downtown. They've done it with landscaping. They've done it with flags saying this is the downtown zone, and they've really come back, and you see life down there again. And so I agree, as long as there's the will and the intent of a focused area, that revitalization can happen. And it was really exciting to see, as I think as a counselor, you're never really on vacation. Like, you go to a place and you're like, oh, I have brochures for Annette. All the time. But it's really interesting. It made me want to go down. It made me want to go to the coffee shop downtown. It made me want to see the shops that are down there. And previously, we used to travel through Red Deer in the past, and that was not an area I wanted to walk around. And so they really, as I said, with intent, created that engagement with the community, and that's a desirable place to be. So, and it was interesting to see.
And I would like to share, when we have ISE, when we have vacations or weekend, we go to other cities. Why not, we create such an environment. People come from Edmonton, Calgary, in a Drayton Valley to enjoy their time and spend some time here. And there was a planner, and he shared an example for Detroit. He said, the population's reduced from 2 million to 600,000 in Detroit. And the thing is, now what they are doing, they're putting more amenities in our town, and they're revitalizing their lot of areas, especially in the downtown, and they are providing more green spaces, more amenities, so that people can have a quality of life there. So that's very important.
Yeah. Councillor Schuler?
Thank you. A couple councils ago, I inquired about a permit that was issued in a direct control area.
Yeah.
And I know you gave me an answer, but can you please explain
sure.
to all of council the reasoning why that went through and didn't come through council?
Basically, that was just a minor development just for signage, and that was a discretion to a development officer. But it's a major development, definitely it will go to the council for approval.
All right. Councillor Frederickson?
The playground and spray park here, the non-resident application business license, is that referring to the park development that's happening at on the lands across from Evergreen School, or is there something new coming in?
That's the business licenses? Number 11. Basically, there's this contractor, they provide that kind of services, playground and spray park contractor, basically they provide that kind of services for, it's meant, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not like, they're talking about some area, so it's a services.
Okay. Councillor Bossert?
Morning, Shahid. I just have questions about number 4 in the business licenses, which is supportive living and retirement residence and accommodation. It says that this is a new application, but that building has now been there approximately 3 years. So I'm a bit unsure of what they're applying for, if they're changing services or changing contractor or whatever, because the residence has been there for quite some time.
Through Mayor Councillor Bossert, the thing is, I need to check the information from our development officer. Basically, that's the services that contractor are providing, but I'm not aware of that details.
Okay.
But I need to check with my development officer.
And also with number 6, there is a license issued for retail housing
Yeah.
out of Red Deer. Is that the mobile homes that came in
One
for a show?
manufactured home and mobile homes.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Anything further? All right. Thank you.
So much.
Engineers report. Ron Fraser.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council. So the most recent thing that people probably took note of was the improvements to the ring road, which was complete last Friday, just before the rains came in. So I know the guys had some struggling with the oil that came in and the quantity of it and mixing it, but it all came together on Friday, and I think they made a fairly good job. The pedestrian crosswalk on 50th Avenue, that was completed around the end of June. That was the solar-operated crosswalk. The 43rd Avenue extension is still underway. It's been hit very hard by the daily rain showers, and I suspect they're actually going backwards rather than ahead, but it's not much else they can do. I know they applied some lime yesterday to try to dry things out a bit, so. Our request for proposal went out for Mackenzie Avenue paving, and there was actually 10 consultants that submitted, and we're planning to make a selection shortly, and our hope is that we can get that construction work done this year, before too late in the fall. Cooley Road erosion, the design is being completed. We still have to have our design review meeting on that, but the intent is to go ahead with that project too this year. The open space park work is referred to, well, I guess it really wasn't referred to, but anyway, the open space park work is still underway, and the pavement of the trails are to commence shortly. We are kind of early stages, but we are moving ahead on establishing asset management for our surface and underground infrastructure to help inform our budget going forward, budget 17 and thereafter. And I've been having my staff putting together their needs for the 2017 capital and operating budget, so we're going to have discussions this month and get some information over to finance and commence our overall internal discussions. In the Public Works Department, there's been an awful lot of work at the sanitary main, the southwest component of the sanitary main. A lot of sediment, a lot of rags that we're still trying to figure out where all they're coming from. It's mostly cleaned up by now. There's still a little bit of video recordings to be completed. Most of the rig mats have been removed. There's still a few, and we're hoping this work will be done by the end of this week. We did actually go out and inspect a couple of sites that we thought might be contributing to the problem. One of them showed up exemplary, no complaints. The other one, not so much. So there'll be some follow-up with them, and we are going to be working towards some sort of education, like a handout to go with the utility bill and so forth. Public Works has also had some difficulties with its sweepers and the mobile paint sprayers, so they've been in for repairs. The water treatment plant, they hired 3 summer students from high school that intend to go, I believe, to NATE afterwards, and apparently they're working out very well for our utilities manager. They've been undertaken, I guess Bill's crew has been undertaking hydrant maintenance and flushing, which is kind of an annual occurrence. The entrance gate to the water treatment plant is being constructed, not quite complete yet, but it'll be a nice gate once it's finished. There have been several water treatment plant tours have taken place recently, and more are being booked all the time. A lot of trees and shrubs have been planted in the landscaped area of the water treatment plant, and they're undertaking annual maintenance on the water and wastewater facilities that they do every year. So, and that would be it.
All right, thank you very much. Community service, whoa, hold on. Councillor Nadeau.
Ron, I'm just wondering if they have some high school students that are going on to post-secondary, if they're aware, and it sounds like potentially the field that they're working in, they're aware that we do have the scholarships? They should really look into the scholarships because they can be applied for if they're going into municipal work.
Okay, I'll check that with Bill and see if they're aware and check into it.
Huh? Councillor Frederickson?
I just had a question. It just seems like every council meeting we have the regs discussion. Are these new regs, or is this the same project that's just taking forever to do? Like, it's always about the regs.
Well, they're there. I've seen them myself on several occasions this year. It's discouraging. Yeah, they're new. I mean, they get taken out, and it's going to be a real hunting exercise to try to find out exactly where they're coming from. So because so many businesses tie into them and so forth.
What size are we talking?
The regs? Well, I've seen. I usually see them in clumps. And when I go there, there's a pile that's maybe this big and this big. But if you strung them out, they're probably, 4, 5, 6, 8 feet long kind of thing.
Industrial regs.
Industrial, yeah.
Councillor Bossert.
Thank you, Ron, for your report. Just the other evening, council received an update on a number of our capital projects for the year, and I see that quite a number of them have not been started. And I'm just wondering, questioning to you whether you see any of our projects in your department being delayed this year to the 2017 year.
Well, so far I'm optimistic that we will get them done. It's always, subject to weather, and we've had a lot of rain. I think 43rd Avenue potentially could get delayed, but its completion is 2017 anyway, ultimate completion. So I guess I'm saying I'm hopeful, but I'm not 100% sure, depending on weather kind of thing. Is there anything further? All right. Community Services and FCSS, Annette.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Just a few things happening within, that I want to speak to that's happening amongst all the other things within Community Services. So first and foremost, just want to extend a great thank you out to all the staff members, town staff members, and community volunteers who helped out to put on Canada Day. Beautiful day for it. I can tell I still have the stripes on my feet from my sandals. So the sun was shining and the place was packed again. So just again another wonderful day to celebrate with the community and the various number of activities that were happening that day. Again, too, want to encourage people that if they have children within the community that are looking for something to do, there isn't a day that there isn't at least something going on within the community for summer programs, activities, whether that's the free park programs happening within our local parks, ball hockey in the Omniplex, the number of library programs, the skate park jam happening August 12th. There's so many different things. So highly encourage people to look at those programs. It's been mentioned before, heavy into budget process as well, not only for the existing year of 2016, but also for 2017, and preparing both capital and operating budgets. I don't think it will be a surprise to Council that, of course, it's been certainly a challenge within our town facilities due to the economic climate, so the budgeting process will just take a little bit further in terms of trying to come up with a budget that is going to reflect what might occur for 2017. Mr. Fraser commented about the open space development, so certainly the paving is, of course, coming fairly shortly, but we've also made preparations for the installation of the outdoor fitness equipment. We'll have 4 different nodes within the park that have outdoor fitness equipment. Looking forward to that. Also looking forward to the tables, or picnic tables, our benches, recycling stations that will be scattered throughout the park. And then, of course, the outdoor rink, which will definitely be constructed this year. It's signed and sealed. It is going to happen. Want to also say thank you to our customers at the Total Works Fitness Center. We are undergoing the rest of the renovations. We wanted to wait until the low season to finish off things such as painting. So we just want to say thank you to our customers who are being patient with the rest of the renovations that will be happening within that center. And also the tennis courts have been completed and are resurfaced. So we have 2 sets of tennis courts at Rotary Park. We have 1 tennis court up at the hospital site, as well as 4 pickleball courts. So I think it was the day after they were finished, there was an activity of pickleball, so it was great. So good timing on that one. That's my report right now.
All right. Thank you very much. 7.3, Emergency Services, Chief Thompson.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor, Council. At this time, I have no stats to report to Council at this time. Just to inform Council and let Council know that we are busy with our kids' camps. Currently this week we have one going on in Breton, and so I spent the majority of the day out there yesterday working with those kids. So it's going to be busy, but an exciting time.
All right.
That's my report.
Councillor Frederickson.
I just wanted to comment on Canada Day. I think it was one of the vintage trucks. It was a young fellow by the name of Zach who was riding with Will. And I'm not sure if he's been a part of your camp or not, but he was definitely knowledgeable about everything fire. He gave me the tour of the truck, showed me all the hoses, the knobs, all that stuff. So something's sticking, and you might have a future firefighter on your hands.
Doing a little recruiting. Anything further? All right. Where are we? 7.4, Administration, Communications and Marketing. Tyler.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. How are you all this morning? Good, good. Everybody's
We're getting there.
awake and
Yeah.
getting there. Excellent, excellent. A few notes here for communications and marketing. We do have our brand new website that was launched on Canada Day along with our app. I do have some statistics on our app. We have 1,059 downloads of our app. Also, we have 1,500 updates, which I know doesn't make a lot of sense, but if you delete the app and reinstall it and re-update it, it will count as that. So it seems like there's a lot more updates than there is people that have downloaded it. I want to say a big thank you on Canada Day to the Public Works Department for having an amazing float. I just thought that it was great, so thank you, Mr. Fraser, on that. Do appreciate it. And then also, I would encourage all of council and any administration to be able to tag My Drayton Valley on Instagram to be able to submit photos from our community as part of our brand launch that we have had. That's about all I have right now. If you have any questions.
Any questions? Councillor Nettle.
Not a question so much. Just about the My Drayton Valley pictures. I did talk to the Eleanor Pickup Arts Center about Arts and Culture Days, and they said they would love to have them in the lobby to showcase.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So.
That's great.
Anything further? All right.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Dibbin, anything going on?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, Council. There's a few things going on these days, some of which Council was apprised of a bit earlier. Maybe a few broad aspects to report on. One, I know other councillors will speak to the specifics, but just some activities of relevance to the world outside of the Civic Center and our facilities. 60th anniversary activity. I've had a couple of meetings since the last council meeting with my counterpart in the county, which predominantly had been spent on discussions related to our intermunicipal cooperation agreement and looking at the review that we are in the current year and how that should be contemplated as we envision a future with amendments to the Municipal Government Act and intermunicipal cooperation framework agreements. And from an administration perspective, trying to focus those in on so that we are, to the best of our ability, responding to the future state and looking at these in a comprehensive fashion that speaks to the needs of the town and the broader community on services, facilities, and aspects from both a capital and an operating perspective. So that will be a lengthier discussion that will take some time, but leading into the fall when, as per our existing agreement, that councils will need to consider this agreement and any changes to it on a go-forward state. We hope to be able to inform those discussions when councils discuss this later in the year. There were a few mentions earlier in previous reports that I just wanted to associate with other activity. Director of Engineering referenced work on asset management. A big part of that is asset inventory and what we need to have in place so that we are properly informing the plenary work and options for council so that council can make informed and appropriate decisions for the community going forward that speaks to the longer term plans and visions that council establishes for the community. I look at that in terms of some of the approaches, and the reference was also made to summer students at the water treatment facility. The high school students are local students that we are looking at in terms of the future recruitment and succession planning for our workforce as we need them. We're looking at that with the same eyes with our public works summer student staff, with our information technology summer students. We do have a couple of those from post-secondary, one who's still in progress and one who has just completed their studies at the level that they're at. And these are what we need to be identifying in our human resource pipeline. We are just far enough outside, particularly for some of these technical aspects, that we do have a tougher time in some circumstances of recruiting and retaining. And as some of these needs progress, these are very marketable commodities and skills that these young individuals have. And if we get them early and we ingrain them and embed them in our operations, it makes it just that much easier for them to come home each summer and stay here when their studies are done. So that's a big part of how we look at succession planning and ultimately to future productivity and efficiency gains for the organization. One aspect too that I wanted to point on as it relates to other strategic activities, and I'll kind of lump these into the education and communications field. In the last few weeks, we have put information, as council has discussed and directed before, about our community standards bylaw. We did put information, updates, FAQs out in the public aspect to remind residents of what we do have in place and what is expected. The bylaw officer and myself, in response to some public questions and concerns, as well as some others that have been identified for us, have begun with a community survey of some of these properties and aspects. The bylaw does provide some flexibility to the bylaw officer and the CAO in terms of making assessments and issuing proper remedies or notices. And we will be undertaking, as we move along, more stringent awareness, compliance, and enforcement activities in this area, as has been discussed and identified to council. We have put out on our website other avenues, also mailers this past month, as the cycles are now in terms of updated messaging on automated traffic enforcement. And our intention is, as we complete this cycle of utility billings, this will be followed later in the summer with companion notifications and advisements on the Safe and Healthy Communities Fund, and the opportunity then for interested proponents to avail themselves of those monies secured from automated traffic enforcement fines for safe, healthy community and resiliency pursuits within the community. So our intent is to roll that out over the subsequent weeks into next month, and as well into the fall as well. Just if I might indulge on a personal note, last week Marnie and myself took possession of our home in Drayton Valley. We got the keys last Tuesday. This weekend, in 2 tranches, we had all of the kids that came and spent some time in the community this past weekend and Monday night as well. And my only regret is I did not have a GoPro so that I could share the reaction of my youngest daughter as she arrived in the community. It's her first time in the community. And not just the house, but the trails, the parks, the proximity to her new school. It was a phenomenal reaction. I think that the reason I share that is because of the activities of others in this room, of the community that's been built here. And that was her reaction, unprompted, unscripted. And so she is so excited about starting school here in September. And that, personally, that just lifted a weight from Marnie and I, because that was the only wild card left about the decision that we made. So I wanted to share that, and just thank you all again for the opportunity.
Thank you. We'll go to council reports. Councillor Wheeler.
Thank you. The only thing I have to report on upcoming is the Parks Day on Saturday. So there's activities going on all day. They do jet boat rides. It's super fun. If anyone wants to come check it out, it's all free. You did have to register for most of the other, like the archery and stuff, because they do kind of a class all day with it. But there is just down at the Wiley West Campground all the playing, and there'll be a barbecue that a bunch of us, I'm sure, will be attending and hanging out with. So they also do the Parks and Wildlife come out and do their interpretive stories, and some of them are crazy with the animals they've had in the encounters. It's pretty neat to listen to, and they usually have the artifacts they bring that the kids can see. So yeah, it's a really fun day. And then there also is the drive-in movie that night. So Saturday is going to be awesome.
Outstanding. You're like a walking advertisement. That's awesome. The enthusiasm is palpable. Councillor Bossert, top
Thank you,
that.
Mr. Mayor. I'd like her enthusiasm to rub off on me on the occasion. June 23rd, I attended the Drayton Valley Welcoming Group. We had the presentation this morning. We are impending, the arrival of our Syrian family is pending. Hopefully, any day now, we'll have that new family in our community, and our community is more than prepared to welcome them and bring them in. June 28th, I attended the MGA roundtable discussions in Whitecourt. July 1st, Canada Day, again, can never say enough about how well that day goes. Always a great success in our community, so my hats off to all of our staff and all of the people that worked behind the scenes to make that come together and celebrate our country's 149th birthday. July 4th, I attended the Chilling Out in DV meeting. We'll have Chilling Out in DV September 16th to 17th, an overnight experience to raise awareness of homelessness and poverty in our community. And same day, I also attended the Homelessness and Poverty Reduction Team meeting, where it was announced that HPS, which is our federal funding partner, has levied an increase of funding, so we have an opportunity to provide another budget to this organization and hopefully have an increase of funding to our Poverty Reduction Team program. On July 5th, I attended the first meeting of the 60th anniversary planning meeting for our community. Some really great discussions on what we as a council and as a community want to move forward to celebrate our 60th anniversary. There's a lot of events that we hope to bring forward. Currently have a straw dog of approximately 6 events that are dovetailing with events that are already planned for the community. So I look forward to seeing how that unfolds in our community. Ms. Dreesen, I would really like to know or have a workshop on pickleball, because although Public Work always hears about rags, Community Service always tells us about pickleball. I would really love a workshop on pickleball and a challenge. And Mr. Dibben, welcome to the community. So thrilled to hear that your littlest one is excited to be here. We're excited that you are here, so welcome.
All right, Councillor Frederickson.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Canada Day celebration, this was my first, actually it was my, for as long as I lived here, which is the better part of my life, this was the very first Canada Day summer parade I've ever attended and went to. Yeah, never, we were always swimming, like I was always in Neptune's doing swim meets, you know. So it was an excellent experience, and had some fun tossing candy and Frisbees, although I was dodging just as much candy and Frisbees from some of my counterparts, trying to knock my head off.
Entirely accidental.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
Almost entirely.
And as Councillor Bossert had said, yeah, I attended the 60th anniversary committee, and I think that the year is gonna be great. And we were looking at ways to, yeah, just enhance some of the existing things that we have. So it's, so it should be good. And I'm trucking right along with my Humans Helping Humans Shaken and Drayton dance practices. I'm relatively sore today because I had a practice yesterday. But you know, one of those things, if I had the choice again, well, I still like figure skating, but I would love to dance. Like it's just been so much fun. But anyway, so I am collecting donations for that. And that is all.
That's the difference enthusiasm makes. I never had a desire to be a dancer at all, at any point last year. Councillor Nadeau.
I have nothing to report at this time.
What? Scratch the record. All right. Councillor Long.
I did not see that coming. I have little to report. On the, I forget what date, 23rd maybe, I attended the Economics and Sustainability course from Augustana College, which is offered at the Clean Energy Technology Centre right here in Drayton Valley. I won't talk about the course, but it was nice to see the centre in use. We had just about enough people signed up to break even. I think we needed one more for the break even, so close enough to feel that you can push there. And I believe in conversation with Mr. Diol, he will be looking at bringing in the rest of the courses. It's a 6-module, I believe. You guys have all done it, of course, so looking at bringing in the rest. But nice also because the folks that take that tend to be elected officials from municipalities like this, and a good chance to show it off and let them see what we can do here. I went to the MGA tour along with Councillor Bossert, which was, thank you for the hamburger. It was delicious. Canada Day was always fun. And once again, on the 8th, a couple of days back at the Clean Energy Centre, I forget the name of the session, Exploring Opportunities or something along that lines, but we had, I'm going to say, 50?
60.
60? Folks from various provincial departments, some businesses and other interested parties out for a sort of workshop looking at future direction, governance, framework possibly.
Strategic planning,
Strategic
yeah.
planning, that's a good one, for the CETC, so glad to see that happening.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Thank you very much. Councillor Schuler.
Thank you. Yeah, on June 27th, I attended the MGA summer tour. Other than being somewhat disappointed, I don't think I really want to go into it any more than that. Just along the whole lines of the MGA review, so it fit right in. July 1st, of course, attended the Canada Day, and I was very impressed. The town put on a fabulous Canada Day, and I'm glad the rain held off for the fireworks. They were wonderful, and yeah, just can't say enough. The people that come out for our event shows how well it is run, and I want to say thank you and kudos to all those involved. So thank you very much. Just on a side note, the TELUS float did win third place. So thank you.
Props to TELUS.
Yeah.
There you go.
First and second.
I don't know. I didn't hear. Sorry. I just know we got third. And July 8th, along with Councillor Long and the mayor, I did attend also the CETC Exploring Opportunities, and it the morning was very interesting. There was so much excitement and positive notes about the CETC and what we're doing here. The tours that we took, people were extremely interested in, and unfortunately, we didn't have enough time for all the questions that they had. So I'm hoping that will spur some of them to get back in touch or keep in touch and move things forward. It was a very good day, and I think it definitely if we weren't already, helped to put CETC on the map for both the province and educational as well as business, because we had representatives from all. And with that, I also want to welcome Mr. Diven to our community and his family, and wish you and your family all the best. And we are very pleased to have you here. And that is my report.
All right, thank you very much. June 28th is from the last council meeting. June 28th, of course, we had the Mayor's Advisory Committee meeting. I think of note there, amongst the topics that were discussed, the automated traffic enforcement was raised, and we did a little bit of a roundtable on relative, just to gauge relative support of the automated traffic enforcement, and 201. Every member was in support, to varying degrees, but in support of the application of automated traffic enforcement in the community. And I think that's important. That's yet another endorsement of the implementation of that type of enforcement. July 1st, Canada Day. I think back to my first Canada Day on council was in 1999, and my recollection is that we did not do anything. And the commitment from the mayor at the time was that it would be bigger and better next year. And it was. And it's been growing in scope, enthusiasm, and participation ever since. And this past Canada Day, I'm so impressed with the manner in which it was organized, and the venue. I had my concerns about the venue for activities. Not at all. My concerns were immediately assuaged. So it was. I think it was a very good, functional setup, and people were certainly happy. may have had something to do with the weather we ordered. And, of course, apologies to Councillor Frederickson, the Frisbees. Yeah. Just skipping ahead, the Exploring Opportunities Conference with the CETC, or workshop rather, it did involve a number of representatives of various departments, economic development and trade, Alberta Innovates. There were other departments as well. There were representatives from advanced education, and of course the business community. It was a good day. As Councillor Schuler indicated, I think it started off with rather more enthusiasm than it ended, and I think that's maybe because we needed perhaps a bit more focus to the group questions, but also more time. I think there was a fair appetite to delve into matters more deeply and to really explore how the CETC can best serve the various constituencies. So many thanks to Alberta Economic Development and Trade for sponsoring the day and for leading the discussion in that regard. And on just this past Monday, the 11th, I attended the Municipal Governance Committee meeting of AUMA. Of course, I sit on that committee, and I'm really pleased to do so. It's interesting, and this year, of course, with the amendments introduced to the Municipal Government Act, it's proving particularly interesting. Also, a little busier than it normally is. We've added a couple of meetings just because of the MGA amendments. This past meeting was largely to finalize recommendations to the AUMA board as to AUMA's final position on the amendments. Regarding the single amendment that probably affects our community and many towns our size, was the intermunicipal collaboration framework that's been put forth by the province. I guess the way I would describe it, the mood around the table on that item is palpable disappointment. The province, I think, with good intentions, attempted to strongly encourage, in fact, force is not too strong a word, some kind of collaboration between urban and rural municipalities. Unfortunately, they did not address the means with which to facilitate that collaboration. I think the general sentiment was one of disappointment and an enormous amount of work to be done with the regulatory framework that is going to be the proving ground for implementation of these changes. And I will certainly keep council and administration posted as things evolve. That is my report. I'll move on to information items. Item 9.1, the Economic Development Committee meeting minutes. 9.2, the Sustainability Committee meeting minutes of May 24th. 9.3, the Child Care Operational Board April minutes. 9.4, Councillor Long's Economic Developers of Alberta Conference Report. 9.5, the June 2016 Star Catholic Board highlights. And 9.6, the RCMP statistics for June. Could I get a motion to receive those as information, please? Councillor Bossert, all in favor? That is carried. Could I get a motion to adjourn, please? Councillor Schuler, all in favor? Carried. We're adjourned.